What if I told you that sitting quietly in your kitchen spice rack is a tiny ingredient, small enough to fit on your fingertip? That's often overlooked, but recent studies suggest it may naturally support better blood circulation, deeper sleep, and even boost male hormones without the need for medication. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But stay with me for a few minutes. This could be a game changer for men's health after 60. My name is Dr. Michael Reed, a specialist in male endocrinology. For over 3 decades, I've helped thousands of men regain their confidence, stamina, and quality of life. The method I share doesn't involve costly prescriptions or complicated equipment. I focus on natural approaches that awaken the vitality many thought they had lost since their 30s. Here's the fascinating part. This spice was once used by older generations before moments of intimacy. Today, science confirms its benefits go even further, from helping to relax blood vessels and reduce oxidative stress, to promoting deeper, more restorative sleep, key factors in maintaining healthy male hormone levels. Of course, results can vary depending on the individual, and this is not a replacement for personal medical advice. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how to use this spice in just 60 seconds a day, and the kinds of changes you may begin to notice after 1, 2, and 4 weeks, based on publicly available clinical data. Before we begin, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on more natural health tips designed specifically for men. If you find this information helpful, leave a comment so others can join the conversation. And if anything is unclear, feel free to ask. I'll be here to support you. Now let's dive into the most important part, because none of the benefits I just mentioned can truly happen unless you understand what actually makes this tiny spice so powerful. The answer lies in a natural compound called eugenol, which is found in very high concentrations in clove buds. Eugenol is the key that triggers a cascade of positive reactions throughout the body, especially for blood circulation and male vitality after the age of 60. To give you a clearer picture, eugenol is a natural vasodilator. That means it helps relax and open up blood vessels, especially the smaller ones that often become stiff or narrow with age. This is incredibly important because after 60, many men begin experiencing poor blood flow, not just to the heart, but to the lower regions as well, where strong circulation is essential for maintaining healthy function. What truly impressed me is how quickly eugenol can start working. By simply chewing 1 or 2 clove buds a day, the essential oils rich in eugenol are absorbed directly through the mouth's lining and enter the bloodstream almost immediately. Many people report feeling a gentle warmth spreading through their body within just a few minutes, a sign that circulation is picking up again. And there's more. Eugenol also helps your body produce more nitric oxide, a signaling molecule that plays a crucial role in regulating blood pressure and improving blood flow. What's remarkable is that this is the very same pathway many well-known performance-enhancing drugs try to mimic. But unlike synthetic chemicals, eugenol is a natural compound that works with your body's own mechanisms, without the side effects like headaches, dizziness, or fatigue that some people experience with medication. When I work with men over 60, they often confide the same worry in different words. My body just doesn't respond the way it used to. If you have ever felt that way, let me make this clear. It is not your fault. There is nothing shameful about it, and it is certainly not a personal failure. What you are experiencing is a normal biological change that comes with time, but the good news is that it is not beyond improvement. As we age, our vascular network, especially the tiny capillaries responsible for erections, begins to weaken. These vessels lose flexibility after decades of wear, chronic stress, highly processed foods, low-grade inflammation, and a sedentary lifestyle. The result is simple. Blood no longer flows strongly enough to the places that need it. And without sufficient blood, no amount of desire can produce a healthy erection. What many doctors seldom emphasize is that this decline can be reversed. You do not have to accept it as your new normal, and you do not necessarily need medication to see progress. That is precisely why clove and its active compound, eugenol, deserve attention. Eugenol not only relaxes blood vessels, as we discussed earlier, it also helps restore their natural elasticity. Think of it as clearing and polishing an old water pipe that has collected deposits for years. Once the pathway is smooth again, blood can flow freely and powerfully to the right areas. Several of my patients have reported that after just a few weeks of consistent use, they began waking up with morning reflexes they had not experienced in years. No pills, no artificial stimulation, just healthy circulation re-established the way nature intended. And that is the real strength of this approach. It does not force the body to react. It simply reopens pathways that once worked perfectly. However, there is another factor, almost invisible, that can disrupt this entire process. In fact, many people have no idea it has been quietly undermining their testosterone and vitality for decades. Now that you understand why clove has such a powerful effect on men's health after 60, the next thing you need to know is how to do it correctly. I always tell my patients this. Lasting change doesn't have to come from something complicated. In fact, it's often the simplest habits, done the right way, consistently, that bring the most noticeable results. And this is a perfect example. You don't need a prescription. You don't need to visit a clinic. You don't even need to wait in line at the pharmacy. All it takes is 1 minute right in your own home with just a few common ingredients. Here's how I typically guide my patients. 1. Start with 2 to 3 whole dried clove buds. Avoid powdered cloves. Use the intact buds with both the stem and the flower head. Organic is ideal, but any good quality product that's aromatic and properly dried will work. 2. Place the cloves between your molars, where your chewing is strongest. Gently bite down until they crack. Don't rush or bite too hard. 3. Hold the crushed pieces in your mouth for about 30 seconds. During this time, the natural oils, especially eugenol, will begin to spread through your mouth and be absorbed through the mucous membranes. You might feel a warm or slightly spicy tingle. This is completely normal and a sign that the absorption process is working. 4. After 30 seconds, begin to gently chew. You don't need to grind them forcefully, just enough to release the remaining oils. Keep the mixture in your mouth for another 30 seconds so the eugenol fully mixes with your saliva and is absorbed effectively. 5. Total time, just 60 seconds. After that, you can swallow what remains, or if it doesn't feel pleasant, you can spit it out. Either method is fine. Why does this method work so quickly? It's because of the unique structure of the mouth. The blood vessels under the tongue and inside the mouth absorb compounds much faster, even faster than the digestive system. That's why many people begin to feel the effects within minutes. A sharper, more alert mind, improved circulation, a sense of lightness, like the body is switching back on. But perhaps the most meaningful benefit of all is this. This simple habit doesn't just help with blood flow or boosting energy. It also unlocks something incredibly important for men over 60, something that often declines without us realizing it. Deep restorative sleep and the body's natural production of testosterone. And that is exactly what we'll explore in the next section. Even if you eat well, stay active, and try to do everything right according to health advice, if you still feel like your energy is unstable, your sleep is restless, your desire is fading, or your body just doesn't respond the way you'd expect, then the issue may not lie in your diet or hormones. It may come down to something that many people overlook: chronic stress. I've worked with countless men over 60, men who genuinely believed they were doing everything right, only to quietly admit something during our conversations. Honestly, I feel stressed almost every day. And when I gently ask them, how much pressure are you carrying in your life right now? The answer doesn't usually come right away. Sometimes there's just a sigh. But eventually, a long list begins to unfold. Financial worries, concerns about personal or family health, changes in marriage or relationships, and that uneasy feeling of losing direction as they enter the later stages of life. What most people don't realize is this: the body treats stress like a long-term emergency, and in response, it keeps pumping out cortisol, a hormone that's meant to help in short bursts, not around the clock. The problem is, cortisol and testosterone can't stay high at the same time. So when stress levels stay elevated and cortisol continues to surge, testosterone begins to drop. And that affects your performance, your sleep, your energy levels, and even your emotional stability. This is where clove steps in to serve a second role, beyond just improving circulation. It helps the body regulate its natural stress response. Clove contains a compound called beta-caryophyllene, which interacts with certain receptors in the nervous system related to feelings of calm and safety. This is a biological mechanism backed by numerous scientific studies. Just a few minutes after taking it, many people report a lightness in the chest, a clearer, more focused mind, and perhaps most powerfully, a feeling that the weight they'd been carrying is suddenly lifted, even if they hadn't realized how heavy it was. And it's in that moment, when cortisol begins to drop, that testosterone is finally allowed to return naturally. No pills, no injections, just a body that's finally relaxed, perhaps for the first time in years. This change might not always be dramatic or immediate, but it's very real. And here's the most exciting part. Once the stress response is calmed, your body can finally shift into recovery mode. And at the center of that recovery is something too often overlooked: deep, restorative sleep. In the next section, we'll uncover why deep sleep, often taken for granted, is actually the place where male hormones are rebuilt in the most powerful way. If there's one pattern I've seen in hundreds of health records from men over 60, it's this: when sleep quality declines, nearly every other physiological marker goes downhill too. You can eat well, exercise regularly, even take all the right supplements. But if your sleep is poor, your body simply doesn't have the conditions it needs to rebuild key hormones. Why is that? Because the majority of testosterone production, as well as the repair of muscle, skin, and nerve tissue, takes place deep within uninterrupted sleep cycles. When those cycles are broken, the body's hormone factory functions like a flickering light. In fact, many of my patients have shared that they lie awake long past midnight, or toss and turn, waking up 3 or 4 times a night, and wake up in the morning feeling heavy, unmotivated, and drained. They often wonder why their energy has dipped and their desire faded. But the answer usually traces back to one core issue: poor quality sleep. This is where clove takes on a third role, supporting the nervous system during the transition to sleep. The compounds we discussed earlier, eugenol and beta-caryophyllene, not only improve circulation and help regulate stress, but they also calm the area of the brain responsible for managing the body's sleep-wake rhythm. Here's how to apply this practically. Chew 2-3 whole clove buds about an hour before bedtime. Follow the same 60-second oil hold method you've learned. Begin lowering the lights and avoiding blue screens, so your body gets the natural signal to start winding down. Many people have reported they started dreaming vividly again for the first time in years. They wake up feeling truly recharged. And most notably, morning erections began to return, often within just a few weeks. That's not a coincidence. Once cortisol levels drop and deep sleep is restored, testosterone finally has the space it needs to rise, naturally, according to your body's own biological rhythm. So if you've been feeling tired, unmotivated, or low on drive, don't rush into more pills or supplements. Instead, pause and look back at your sleep last night. Just by fixing this one link in the chain, your entire hormonal, sexual, and emotional system can begin resetting, like a positive domino effect. In the next section, we'll walk through what the 7-day, 14-day, and 30-day roadmap looks like, when all 3 benefits come together. Improved circulation, reduced stress, and deeper, more restorative sleep. It might sound a little surprising at first, but I've seen this scenario far too often to ignore. A man walks into my clinic, saying he's low on energy. His physical response isn't what it used to be, and yet he can't pinpoint the cause. His blood pressure is normal. Blood tests don't show anything alarming. All his numbers are within the healthy range. Then I ask one simple question. When was the last time you had your oral health checked? That's usually when things start to make sense. The answers I hear are often along these lines. My gums bleed when I brush. My gums have receded quite a bit. I've had persistent bad breath, no matter what I try. What many people don't realize is this. Oral health and male sexual function are more closely connected than you might think. The mouth is part of your circulatory system. It's a direct gateway to your bloodstream. When bacteria build up around the gums or periodontal disease is left untreated, the problem doesn't stay confined to your mouth. Those bacteria can enter your bloodstream, travel throughout the body, and create low-grade inflammation, especially in small blood vessels. And those tiny vessels, including the ones involved in erectile function, are extremely sensitive to chronic inflammation. Here's a way to picture it. Imagine trying to pump water through a pipe that's clogged with years of buildup. The pressure may be there, but the flow is seriously restricted. Studies have shown that men with severe gum disease are up to 70% more likely to experience erectile dysfunction. This is not just a coincidence. It's a well-understood biological mechanism. And once again, this is where clove shows up as a natural ally, this time for oral health. The essential oils in clove buds contain powerful antibacterial and anti-inflammatory compounds. When you chew cloves daily, these compounds begin working right inside the mouth, neutralizing harmful bacteria, reducing gum inflammation, and most importantly, helping to prevent bacteria from entering the bloodstream. Some people even report that their mouth feels noticeably cleaner and fresher after just a few uses. And when the mouth is clean and healthy, it helps support your circulation in a sustainable way. It's a simple step, but one that's often overlooked in the journey to restoring full male vitality. A small daily action with benefits that ripple throughout the entire system. So now, if you've begun opening your blood vessels, regulating stress, improving sleep, and protecting your oral health, what happens next? Let's move into the final section. A week-by-week roadmap so you can clearly track how your body may respond, step by step, when you consistently follow the 60-second clove method. One of the most moving things I've experienced working with men over 60 isn't the numbers on their lab results. It's the change I see in their eyes and the way they walk into my office when they come back. I remember one patient, nearly 70 years old, who first visited me in a state of quiet despair. He had lost his confidence, felt drained of energy, and told me plainly, "That feeling of being a man, it's been gone for a long time." We started with something very simple, chewing 2 to 3 whole clove buds a day, done correctly and consistently, for 30 days. Just 1 week later, he called and said, "I don't know what's happening, but I'm waking up with a clearer mind than I've had in years." Week 1. Most men begin to notice small, but very clear shifts. A gentle warmth flowing through the body in the morning. Deeper sleep with fewer interruptions. A sharpness in the mind, easier focus. A new sense of motivation to get up, walk, and move around. This isn't the final result, but it's the first signal that the body is beginning to reawaken. Week 2. By now, the transformation starts to become more noticeable. Morning energy is more consistent. Mood is noticeably more positive. And for some, the return of natural morning erections, no pills, no external triggers. This isn't luck. This isn't placebo. This is the result of improved blood flow, reduced stress, and a biological environment where testosterone can finally function again. By day 30, many men tell me the same thing, in almost the exact same words. It finally feels like my body is listening to me again. Their physical responses become more consistent. Confidence returns. It's visible even in the way they stand. And often, their emotional connection with their wife or partner is renewed, not necessarily in a physical way, but in their presence, their ability to truly be there in the relationship. And that's the most powerful part, the feeling of fully living in your own body, not disconnected, not distant, not standing on the sidelines of your own life. But here's what I want to emphasize. Day 30 is just the beginning. Once you've reawakened that inner strength, the one you thought was long gone, the question is no longer, can I get it back? It becomes, how do I hold on to this for the long run? But in the final section, we'll explore exactly how to maintain and build on these results, so your next 30 days become a launchpad for lasting vitality and a renewed sense of self. After turning 60, many men come to a difficult realization. Their body no longer responds the way it used to. Energy fades, sleep becomes shorter, physical reflexes weaken, and that quiet feeling of disconnection from oneself grows stronger with each passing day. But here's what matters most. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to accept a lower quality of life. No one can turn back time, but you can slow the decline. You can recover many of the functions you thought were lost. You can feel like yourself again. You've just walked through a 7-step journey, improving blood flow, reducing stress, restoring deeper sleep, supporting testosterone recovery, and even protecting your oral health. All from one simple daily habit, chewing 2 to 3 whole clove buds for just 60 seconds. This isn't magic. It's biology, reawakened through the right choices, at the right time with just enough consistency. So if you feel like you're not the man you used to be, don't wait any longer. No one knows your body better than you do, and you don't need anyone's permission to start taking it back. All it takes is 1 minute a day. Start tonight. No pills, no expensive devices, no unrealistic promises, just one small intentional choice, repeated each day. That can unlock a new chapter in your life. One where you feel more awake, more connected, and more present in your own body. You don't need to do this for anyone else. Do it for you.